Hello, good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
All right, please, I hope you are all very well.
We are fine, thank you. And you?
All right, I'm great. Thank you for asking. I'm good. Yeah. All right, so I'm made aware that you are more than 500, but I don't know why this number. So even though we are hard pressed with time, let me give you about 5 minutes. Kindly call your friends and let them know that lecture is just beginning so that they could hurriedly join. Okay, hello. Please, are the class reps available here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Again. So kindly talk to them and let them know that I wouldn't be doing that. And so they have all the choice to decide to join us. Are you with me?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. No. I was seven.
Hadia, mute yourself. Mute
Please
yourself.
mute yourself. Oh.
Please, the reps, can't you meet her?
I just speaking that
Please
please mute
mute
yourself.
Please, we are not co-hosting here. We don't be made a co-host here. That is why we remove people like that, you know.
So you can remove her for now.
We are not co-hosts. The host has not made us co-host yet. That is why she's making us. About this time on the ball.
What sort of life is this one? Always. Oh. We are she. If someone knows her personally, the person should call her on phone and tell her she's making noise. Come on.
Hello. All right, please, let's go. Let's go. It's okay. I think we can start now. All right, good morning once again, and thank you all for coming. We met last week, and I think we started with biomolecules. And amongst other things, I said that these are chemical species or components that make up living cells. They are very diverse in nature, and they are widely distributed. Are you okay? So I said that they are highly ubiquitous, okay? And I concluded that almost all physiological processes which occur within living cells require intermediation or require the interaction between between biomolecules to some extent. So what it means is that these living processes that we know cells to keep by are not possible without the interaction between living or between biomolecules, okay, of different forms. So I gave you the example of irritability, okay, involving acetylcholine, which is a biomolecule. Excretion involves transformation of various biomolecules, okay. So you have bilirubin, which becomes conjugated, okay, to glucuronate, okay, or glucuronic acid, and then it becomes very soluble. The two of them are all biomolecules. Bilirubin is a biomolecule, even though it's a waste material. And then glucuronic acid is a modified form of glucose, okay, which occurs within our liver. So these are all common examples. I mean, they are 1 out of a million. There are several biochemical molecules and reactions which occur to promote various physiological processes or various living processes which occur within cells. All right, so apart from that, I had said that biomolecules are very diverse. So if we were to look at them one by one, it would take us, I mean, far more than we have time for. Are you okay? So for simplicity, we categorize them into two broad, very broad, are you okay, families. We have what we call the organic biomolecules, and then we have the inorganic biomolecules, if you remember. And I said that the organic biomolecules contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen together, are you okay? Not isolated, but together. So whichever organic biomolecule you pick would contain these three as standard components, are you okay? And that's why we call them organic biomolecules. They may also contain additional atoms, not only these carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. For instance, if you take proteins, apart from the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, it also contains what? Nitrogen in addition. Are you okay? If not only nitrogen, it may also contain phosphorus for phosphoproteins. We'll look more into details when we start with organic biomolecules. Are you okay? But the standard components are the carbon, hydrogen, and what? Oxygen, if you remember. And then the inorganic biomolecules rather do not contain this together. They may contain carbon, they may contain oxygen, they may contain hydrogen, but not all of them together in just one molecule. Are you okay? So that's basically about that. Are you okay? All right. So common examples of the inorganic biomolecules. I told you within us, are you okay? They include what we call the water, which was the primary one, and then you have the gases, and then finally you have the minerals. Are you okay? So we started off with water, and I said that water is the most abundant biomolecule in the living organism. And by organism, please, I'm referring both to living cells and then to humans as well. Living cells because they make up the basic unit of life. So the simplest form of living organism is a living cell. And humans because much of your professional practice is exacted on humans. Are you okay? You practice on humans, and so they serve as, I mean, your patient. Let me say that bluntly. So I use them interchangeably. So I want you to get this from this beginning, that when I'm talking about living organisms, cells, whatever, and so in a way referring to this set, are you okay? The living cell, and then the human person, are you okay? Who also becomes your patient at one point in time or the other, are you okay? So water, like I said, is the most abundant, IUK, the most abundant biomolecule which occur in the living organism or living cell or probably the human person. And averagely, it's estimated, IUK, from physiological studies that the average human person contains between 60 IUK to about 65% of total body weight. So what it means is that if you stand on a scale and you are weighing about, let's say, 80 kg, IUK, 60% of that 80 kg, which is about 48 kilograms, IUK, is purely water. IUK, purely water. So the rest becomes that for the dry matter. Okay. So the rest of the weight becomes that for the dry. So we have more water than the dry matter within our body. Okay. So we contain a lot of water, if you remember. But the obvious truth is that we get drier as we age. So we have more water at newborn or as newborn, and then as we age, our body water reduces, and it reduces quite significantly. Are you okay? So it's estimated that as newborns, our body water is about 80 percent, and then it reduces to about 60 to 50 as we age in adulthood. So please, you all have my board. It was loading.
Yes, please.
Okay. It's still loading from my end, so. Okay, so like I said, even though we have this average amount of water in our body, we get drier as we age. Are you okay? And not only us, are you okay, but other multicellular organisms like other animals and etc. So as we age, our body organs and tissues get more and more drier. So you see that the average body water for the elderly is relatively lower than that for a young adult, or much more for a newborn, okay, or a growing toddler. So that's basically about that. And this applies to the entire organs of our body, okay. So it's not only our bones that get drier, but almost all other organs of our body equally also get drier as we age, okay. The distribution of water, even though I have said that we have averagely about 60, some organs have more water relatively than others, okay. So organs or tissue like the muscle, like the liver, okay, and the kidney contains relatively high amounts of water as compared to the bones, okay, which are more drier. One paper I read estimated about 35% of water in the bone, okay, with relatively higher levels in other organs, okay. Now, water is basically distributed in our body in three ways. Number one, they constitute a larger proportion of our intracellular matrix, okay. So when we talk about protoplasm or cells, a larger proportion of them is made up of water. So you have part of the body water within intracellular fluids or within body fluids. And as body fluids, in fact, a larger proportion of them constitutes our body fluids. And one of them is the intracellular component, okay. And then, hello, Daniel. Hello, Danny. Are you there?
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay, are you fine now?
Yes, please, I'm good.
Okay, all right, that's okay. So water okay, please forgive me, I think my network. But please, are you all fine with my lecture? Can you all hear me? It looks like the
Yes,
network is a bit.
please.
Okay, so fine, if you're okay. I had wanted to write, but I don't know what's happening to my board. So you, when things normalize, you see my inscriptions on the board. Are you okay? Okay. All right. So as I said, water is distributed in three parts, are you okay? Number one, as part of what? The protoplasm, so within intracellular composition, okay? And then they also constitute a larger proportion of what? Of our body fluids. The body fluids, are you okay, can be grouped into two basically. We have the intravascular and then the extravascular, are you okay? So these include the lymph, the blood, then you can also talk about the interstitial fluid, are you okay? And then the cerebrospinal fluid and etc. Are you okay? All these are considered as forms of body fluids, okay? And a greater proportion of our body fluids, okay, is made up of water. Like I said last week, it's not only water that makes up these fluids. You should understand that. It's just like you are preparing soup, are you okay? You can call it tomato soup or light soup or whatever, but it's not only pepper and tomato you use for the soup. You use spices, you use ginger, you use salt and other things, okay? So water is not the only component in these fluids, but water forms a greater proportion of the fluids. Okay. And then lastly, water is also a greater component of body secretions. Okay. So we have saliva, you have vaginal secretions, seminal secretions. Okay. Okay. And then you also have gastric secretions during digestion. Okay. Hormonal secretion or endocrine secretions. Okay. And etc. All these secretions contain relatively some amount of water. Okay. So that's basically about how water is distributed through our body. Okay. Then we also narrow down to what water does in our body. We saw that water plays a very crucial role in our body, from thermoregulation to serving as medium for the distribution of nutrients to various parts of the body. Water also helps in transport of various substances, both nutrients and waste. They also help in maintaining the buoyancy of cells. That's why when people become dehydrated, you see that the skin folds up. Because it needs some nourishment of water to maintain that suppleness and buoyancy. You would see that in cosmetology, many of the what you call skin glowing creams contain a lot of what you call moisturizers. Moisturizers, what they do is that they trap a lot of water. They trap a lot of water onto the skin so that the skin is highly enriched with a lot of water, and then it continues to maintain suppleness all through the day. And that's about it. So essentially, water is very, very crucial in our body in various ways. And it helps in maintaining life of an organism, a cell, or the human person. So this is what we did last week, or let me say, part of what we did last week. I know we didn't start off suddenly on biomolecules, but in terms of the course outline, this is a basic thing that we did. I promise that on our meeting today, we're going to look at what the other ones. So we're looking at gases and minerals today, and then hopefully next week we'll finish with organic biomolecule, or probably we start with it and see where we would get to. Are you okay? Let me ask if anybody has a question for me or a comment to share. Hello, class.
Please, sir, I have a question.
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so please say the moisturizers that are found in our pomades and lotions that draw water to our skin, does it have negative impact when it comes to our intracellular system? As they draw the water from within to the skin, does it not negatively affect the inside of our system?
No, moisturizers don't draw water from within. They draw water from the atmosphere. So we call them humectants. That's a technical name, but I didn't want to bother you. Are you okay? Humectant. Humectant. Humectants. Okay, that's the chemical term for them. Are you okay? These are chemical substances which are able to absorb a lot of moisture from the atmosphere. Are you okay? So they don't draw the water from within, they just draw it from around. And there are a lot of water vapor around. Are you okay? So that's basically what they do. So I personally must admit, I haven't read anything deep on the effect of moisturizers on the, let me say, water distribution within the body. Are you okay? But basically what I know is that able to draw a lot of water from the atmosphere onto the skin so that they keep the skin cells constantly moisturized or wet. Are you okay? And the main thing is to keep the skin from drying. Are you okay? From drying. Remember, buoyancy is very important for cellular activity and all that. Are you okay? So apart from the beauty aspect, they also help maintain, to some extent, cellular buoyancy, which is very good for the cell in terms of its physiological play of events. Are you okay? Hello, Honorable. Have I answered your question?
Yes, please. Please, thank you very much.
Welcome, Honorable. Yes, please, any other person? If you have a concern, if you have a question, please let me know.
So I have a concern.
Sure, let's go, Honorable.
Okay, sir. About the slides. When you are teaching, you are not showing us, and sometimes it makes it difficult to follow. So we are pleading if you can show us the slides as you are going, so that we can follow and to make it easy for us to understand it. Thank you.
All right, I've heard you. Okay.
Are you this? Yeah.
All right. Madam Class Rep, can you help me out? I recall you shared the link with me. Please, can you share it again?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. I wanted to join with my other device, but I'm struggling to find your number. All right, so let's start off with the gases. Okay, now let me make this plain to all of us. Our body is made up of, or we produce a lot of gases. Are you okay? There are a lot of gases you can find within the human person, even though basic biology makes us aware that it's only oxygen, are you okay, or carbon dioxide that really can be found within our body. But if you study physiology, you get to understand, are you okay, or study maybe physiology and pathology, because some of the gases have pathological effects, are you okay? But generally, you realize that the body produce a lot of gases, and then you also have a lot of gases entering into our body. We intermeddle with a lot of gases in our environment because of the open nature of our nasal cavity. Are you okay? So we breathe in a lot of things. The air we breathe is a mixture of gases, actually, by definition. So there are a lot of gases which, in a way, find their way into our blood. Are you okay? And they interplay with our system in one way or the other. So get to understand this, okay? Having said that, there are basically two main gases which are of crucial consequence, are you okay, in terms of our physiology and in terms of pathology as well. And these are primarily the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, are you okay? That is for humans. If we are looking at this in the context of living organisms, then there are several gases, because there are other gases there are other organisms which don't even rely or live on oxygen and carbon dioxide at all. We have some group of bacteria, we call them methanogens. What they do is that they only survive on methane gas. Are you okay? So there are others that survive on sulfur, so A2S, are you okay? And so they are cultured in specialized atmosphere. Are you okay? So there are living organisms require different gases, but if we narrow this discussion to humans, are you okay? Then we would want to primarily talk about what? Carbon dioxide and what? Oxygen. UK. So let's take them one by one, okay? Let's take oxygen for starters. Oxygen is the most important biomolecule. I want to say this again. Oxygen is the most important biomolecule necessary for human life. It's the most important biomolecule necessary for human life and for all our cells within our body. And this is why, or where I ask my follow-up question. Did you do the exercise in this book?
So this is
All right, so I had said that oxygen is what? The most important biomolecule. In a living organism or in a human person. And I asked a follow-up question that why do you think oxygen is the most important biomolecule? We all breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, isn't it? And there's a common knowledge. Hello? Hello, people. Please, are you there?
Yes, please. Please say we can hear you.
So this is my question. Why is oxygen so important? What at all about oxygen makes it so unique that it's indispensable? I always say this, we can go weeks without food, days without water, but you can't do an hour without oxygen. Even a minute, I don't know. So they are very crucial for our survival as humans. In fact, you are practicing, so you already know this, that if a patient's oxygen saturation is below a particular level, it's considered as an emergency. Because they need critical care. Are you okay? All right, so let me take Joshua and then we'll come to the rest. Mr. Joshua, can we hear you?
Thank you, sir. So please, sir, I think that when we take the living cell,
Yes.
the living cell use energy for their activities. That's the normal function of the cell. So for them to be able to produce ATP, which is the energy that they use for their normal activities, they may need oxygen. So in the absence of this oxygen, it will be impossible for them to produce this energy and also continue their normal activities that they are supposed to perform so that the living organism may survive. So in the absence of this oxygen, I think life cannot continue. That's why the oxygen is very important when it comes to the normal human life. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Joshua. Joshua, you have done very, very well. I wish you were here so that I would dash you some small chocolate. You have done well. So thank you. Thank you. I wanted to show you a short video to illustrate the point Joshua just made, or probably a little emphasis I want to lay on. If you consider the normal human person, we undertake two types of respiration. Are you okay? We have what we call the anaerobic respiration. This is respiration without oxygen. So no oxygen. Then we have what we call aerobic respiration. This respiration involving what? Oxygen. Now, the two occur within our cells, but under different circumstances or conditions. When the cell is insufficient, or when the cell has insufficient oxygen, then it switches on anaerobic respiration. But when it has sufficient amount of oxygen, then it will undertake aerobic respiration. Now, what's the difference between the two? Aerobic respiration produces about 98% of the total energy needs of a cell. Aerobic respiration approximately 2% of the total energy needs of the cell. So what happens is that if oxygen is not available, then all of this energy is also not made available. Are you okay? And the human body will have to now contend with just about the 2% of its total energy needs. And it puts the body in a very, very difficult situation, because even apart from activity, apart from what we call the general physical activity, there are a lot of basal physiological activities that has to be maintained, are you okay, in our body. And much of these basal activities require far more than what? The 2%. Are you okay? You need the heart. I mean, when you are resting and you are even not doing anything at all, are you okay? Even when you are sleeping, your brain must be working. Your heart must still be beating. Your kidney must be working. And all of this require large amounts of energy to be able to do this. So it makes the body struggle and eventually it fades. Are you okay? That's why oxygen is very critical for survival. Are you okay? That's why oxygen is very, very important for survival. Are you okay? So without it, the organism is going to strive, especially for aerobic organisms like humans. Are you okay? And that's why it's very, very important. In fact, very crucial for survival. And that's why in the hospital, if anybody comes in unconscious, quickly you check the oxygen saturation level because it's very crucial for maintaining even consciousness. Are you okay? You may be restful, but you need to maintain consciousness. And without it, consciousness is compromised. Are you okay? So, very important. Let me see if I can share this with you, and then we'll move on. Yes, Benjamin.
Good morning, sir.
Honorable, good morning.
Sir, please, can you kindly go over the comparisons you were doing for both the aerobic and then anaerobic respiration?
Okay, so I said that the aerobic respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen. It needs oxygen. Are you okay? And then the anaerobic respiration is the form of respiration which occurs without oxygen. It doesn't need oxygen. This is not to say that it doesn't need oxygen at all. It doesn't need oxygen to the amount that is required in aerobic respiration. Are you okay? So that's basically about that. Are you okay? And then both of them occurs in cells. Are you okay? Much of aerobic respiration occurs within the mitochondria, but a lot of the anaerobic respiration, even though may end up in the mitochondria, much of it occurs in the cytoplasm. Okay, so much of this occurs in the mitochondria, but much of this occurs in the cytoplasm. Then I also said that the cell is able to navigate itself, between the two. If it has sufficient oxygen, it will switch on aerobic respiration. In a stressful moment, oxidative stress, when the cell is in ischemic condition, with insufficient oxygen, and obviously it will attempt to maintain survival through anaerobic respiration. Even though it doesn't generate sufficient amount of energy, at least it's able to generate some. Just to keep a few things running. So it was anaerobic respiration. Okay, so that's basically what I said. Benjamin, are you fine?
Yes, please, I'm fine. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, so basically that's about what oxygen does in our body. I wanted to share this with you. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, please, do you all have my screen?
Please say it is now about to be shared with us.
Okay, it's loading. All right, so I've jumped a lot of steps. So, but basically, please, do you all have it now?
Yes, sir.
Please, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you look here, this is all part of what you call respiration. But at this junction, that's where the boys are separated from the men. So usually it will start from here with the substrate. Now the substrate can be glucose, it can be lipids, like fatty acid, or usually these are the two major substrates for energy generation. But in fasting or in starvation, you can also use what the brain cells is also able to use what you call ketone bodies. Ketone bodies as the substrate for energy generation. But primarily you have glucose and then fatty acid. So here, assuming we have glucose, it starts from here, and then when it gets to this junction, then the cell will decide if it has a lot of oxygen, then it will run through this aerobic respiration and generates about 36 molecules of ATP. Now, without oxygen, what happens? It's going to reduce the pyruvate to become lactic acid. And this will continue to happen in muscles. And that is what causes muscle fatigue. That's why when you are running or you are doing a marathon or you are indulged in a very strenuous exercise, at a point you feel like you want to just rest because the muscle tone has reduced. Are you okay? You don't feel that energetic anymore to go further. Are you okay? And it's all because of the accumulation of what we call lactic acid within the muscles, which slow down muscular contraction. So usually we say that it reduces muscle tone and it causes muscle fatigue. So if you look here, without oxygen, what happens? You are only left with only the two which you generated from the beginning, and there's no more ATP. Okay, that's why I was saying that anaerobic respiration generates a relatively insignificant amount of what? Energy for the total energy needs of the cell. A larger proportion, I mean, you can compare 36 with 2. And you can see that the 36 is way more. Way more. So altogether, you have 38. Okay, but aerobic respiration is giving you all the 38. Anaerobic respiration is giving you only 2 out of the 38. So you can imagine a shortfall. Okay. So cells stand to gain when they have sufficient oxygen saturation. Just imagine that this cell within which this activity occurs is a brain cell. If you don't have oxygen, what happens? It can't function, so it won't maintain consciousness. Are you okay? And eventually you slide off into coma. Are you okay? If this were a heart cell, then what happens? You have cardiac arrest, but there will be overaccumulation of lactic acid. So the cardiomyocytes, okay, will not be able to contract and generate the pressure necessary to pump blood. So hypotension and eventually cardiac arrest. Okay, so these are some of the background biochemical pathways or pathogenesis that occur in various disease condition outcomes that we see in our various facilities. Hello, please, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So is that clear to you now? Does anybody have a question? We'll actually have some time to interrogate this when we start with carbohydrates. So I'm going to play the whole video for you. But at the moment, I'm using it to make an illustration. Okay. So let's move on then. So this is just to establish the fact that I made earlier, that oxygen is the most important biomolecule in the human body. Are you okay? Oxygen is acquired in the body primarily through inhalation. Through what? Inhalation. So we breathe in and then there is oxygen saturation of our blood. Are you okay? So that's a major means by which our body is able to generate or acquire oxygen. But this is not the only way by which oxygen is acquired. Are you okay? Oxygen can also be acquired through metabolic pathways. Some metabolic pathways are able to generate what? Oxygen for our body. Example, during inflammation, are you okay? The body cell undergoes or undertake what we call oxidative burst. The cells produce a lot of oxygen radicals. One of them is what we call hydrogen peroxide, which is very toxic. And many times the immune cells produce them and use them to poison pathogens after phagocytosis. But after they are done poisoning the pathogen and killing it, some of these hydrogen peroxides also leak into the blood, and they can be very toxic to other body cells. And so to ensure that they don't really harm us as a side effect of inflammation, there are some enzymes in our blood. An example is catalase. Are you okay? What does it do? It takes the hydrogen peroxide and break it down to produce water and oxygen. Okay. So this is just an example of the fact that through metabolic processes, our body can produce what? Some oxygen and use them. This oxygen will not come out of the blood. Are you okay? It's usually used up for other physiological processes. Are you okay? So mainly we acquire oxygen through inhalation. Are you okay? And then relatively through various metabolic processes. Are you okay? Example is what? The detoxification of hydrogen peroxide by catalase. So catalase breaks hydrogen peroxide down into harmless substance. So water and what? Oxygen. Are you okay? Hello, please, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Genevieve.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Genevieve, go ahead.
Sir, please, good morning. Sir,
Good
please, the
morning.
explanation we're giving about the catalyst, I didn't get it well. Please, can you go over again? Thank you.
Hello, Genevieve, can you say it again?
Sir, please, I said the explanation you were giving about the catalyst. I
Yeah,
didn't really get it. So please, can you go over again? Thank you.
you're welcome. What I was saying was that during inflammation, when there is, okay, let me start off this way. When you're, you are infected, let me use that, or somebody suffered trauma, or there's any damage to a part of the body. Are you okay? What happens is that the body immune system tries to fight the pathogen. So it goes there, the site of infection, and then try and eat up the pathogen, or probably eat up those cells that have been infected. Are you okay? But once he eats them, it must be able to digest them and destroy the pathogen. And the main mechanism by which it destroys them, there are several mechanisms anyway, but one of the predominant mechanisms is to produce a lot of oxygen radicals. Are you okay? So oxygen radicals like hydroxyl radical, you also have hydrogen peroxide, and then you also have the superoxide radical. Are you okay? These ones are produced in large amount by the immune cells. They are not produced to destroy the immune cell. The immune cell produces poison purposely to destroy the pathogen. But the point is, after they are done destroying the pathogen, they leak out of the immune cells, and the immune cells are in the blood. Are you okay? So these hydroxyl and the hydrogen peroxide leak out from the immune cells into the blood plasma. And once they come there, are you okay? Because they are toxic, they could also become toxic to other blood cells or to the vascular cells, the cells of the blood vessel. They can attack the cells of the blood vessel and destroy the cells, and subject the individual to various forms of vascular damage and other pathological consequences. Are you okay? Hemorrhage and blah, 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 blah. Are you okay? So to avoid this, within our blood, there are physiological enzymes which serve as more or less like safeguards. Are you okay? What they do is that they go scavenging for these free radicals. Are you okay? And one of them is the catalyst. So it attacks the hydrogen peroxide if you leak out of the immune cells into the blood, and then convert them from harmful to harmless substance. Are you okay? So it breaks the hydrogen peroxide down to water and to what? Oxygen. I'm just using this to illustrate the fact that through some metabolic processes, our body can generate some amount of what? Oxygen, whether in cell or in interstitial spaces. Are you okay? And these oxygen can be used by cells, even whether in aerobic or anaerobic conditions. Genevieve, are you fine now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Bernard.
All right, sir. So per your explanation, I want to clarify something here. Usually during wound dressing, we normally apply hydrogen peroxide on the wounds, and you see this sort of forming on the wounds. I just want to know, is that the reason for the foaming that forms? Is it the oxygen and the water that we are seeing, like what you are explaining, by applying the hydrogen peroxide on the wounds?
Okay. The foaming is because of the gas, and that's the oxygen. Okay. So it's being broken down. Are you okay? The hydrogen peroxide you apply is just to kill just in case the wound has been infected.
All right.
Are you okay? If the wound has been infected, once you apply the hydrogen peroxide, it will kill the pathogens. But then, just to ensure that it doesn't become toxic to the cells, are you okay? They are quickly broken down to oxygen and water. But the oxygen is what creates the foaming. Hello, Bernard, are you fine?
I'm 100% fine.
All right, thank you very much. So that's that. Thank you for coming in with this. Okay, so that's how generally our body is able to acquire oxygen for various physiological activity. Okay, now how do we get oxygen out? Okay, oxygen is acquired through inhalation and metabolism. So how does the body also utilize oxygen? Part of oxygen is also breathed out Are you okay? So you see that exhale there contains some amount of oxygen. Please note that not all the oxygen that we breathe in, that we use. Are you okay? Some oxygen are not used and they are part of exhaled breath. So some of the oxygen is breathed out through what? Exhalation. Okay. Some are also, in fact, mainly are used in what? Oxidative metabolic what? Reaction. Oxidative metabolic what? Reaction. Hello, please, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So some of them are used in what we call oxidative metabolic what? Reaction. Okay. So example of such reactions include what we call beta oxidation. This pathway requires the breakdown of fatty acid into acetyl-CoA. Okay. And other short carbon chain molecules. In some textbooks, they will call it ketone bodies, okay. But the main product of beta oxidation is what? Acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA. Okay. So, but this is not the only one, okay. You also have what you call oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation, as in respiration. So these are all examples of what we call oxidative metabolic reaction. Phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation. Okay. This reaction to get the beta oxidation and then the oxidative phosphorylation reaction all occur in the mitochondria. So most of the oxidative metabolic reactions occur in the mitochondria. Not only the mitochondria, there are others that also may occur in the cytoplasm as well. Are you okay? Yes. But this also serves as the alternative way of utilizing oxygen in the body. So some are exhaled out, some are used in oxidative metabolic reactions. By cells. All right. So that's about how oxygen is utilized. Okay. Now, oxygen enters into the blood, but it has to be transported to what? Tissue. Oxygen within the blood occur in two different forms. Okay. Oxygen within the blood, usually it is transported as what? Oxyhemoglobin. So you have the oxygen bound to what? Hemoglobin. About 97% of the oxygen in the blood is transported mainly as what? Oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so majority of the oxygen are bound toward hemoglobin. So hemoglobin serves as a major transporter of what? Oxygen. And that is why any disease, hemolytic disease, that causes the decrease in the amount of hemoglobin can also influence what? Oxygen distribution or saturation in the blood, and can cause ischemic outcome. Are you okay? So you realize that when patients have severe malaria, are you okay? The severe malaria causes a decreased what? Hematocrit. Are you okay? It causes a significant reduction in what? HB levels. And that predisposes the body to what? Hypoxia. Are you okay? And other oxidative stress. Are you okay? And etc. That's why our severe malaria cases can lead to coma, can lead to what you call cardiogenic shock and etc. Are you okay? All right. Regina, I'm seeing your hand up.
Sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning. Sir,
Good
please, I
morning.
can't see the slide. So I can't see. I don't know whether it's from my part.
I think it's from your end. Can you really refresh? Because I have 400 people here who have my page. Are you okay? So I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So kindly refresh your page. I'm sure your network is a bit too slow. It happened to me actually. So, but when it's working, it's better. Okay. All right. So about 97% of the oxygen within the body is mainly transported as what? Oxyhemoglobin. So they are transported while they are bound to what? Hemoglobin. This binding is reversible. So it's too weak to be permanent, but it's also a bit strong to be broken. Are you okay? The point is that the oxygen should attach very well so that it can be transported to the right side. Are you okay? But it shouldn't be bound too strongly. But it shouldn't be too strong so that it can detach. Because the ultimate destination of oxygen is not the hemoglobin, but rather the tissue or the cell. That's the ultimate destination. So the hemoglobin is acting as a vehicle. Are you okay? So that's basically about that. I said that about 97% of the oxygen is transported as well, oxyhemoglobin. What about the remaining 3%? They are transported as well, molecular oxygen. They are transported as molecular oxygen. And this should spark some concern. As molecular oxygen, this means that they occur as gas bubbles, but in very, very small amounts. Okay. So as molecular oxygen, they are gas bubbles, but they are very, very small, and they are dispersed in the blood. They don't really coalesce. So they don't really gather together and then become a big bubble. Okay, that could be very, very dangerous. Okay, so they are dispersed and they also constitute a relatively small proportion within the blood. Are you okay? If the amount of this rises, it can cause severe pathological outcomes. Okay. And this explains why sometimes, even in the hospital, when patients are in critical care and they need oxygen, you don't turn the tap, the oxygen tap, are you okay, to the, you don't turn the tap all through, are you okay, to the last 10. Are you okay? Why? Unlike the way you turn your tap in the house to quickly fill your bucket. You don't do that when you have a patient on oxygen, because if you do that, you force large amount of oxygen into the blood, more than the hemoglobin can bind to. And so the remaining ones become bubbles, and these ones can coalesce together, and then they can form what you call air emboli. So they form an air embolus, and this embolus can cause what? I'm sure you know that where I'm leading to. So they can block blood vessels and cessate or occlude blood flow, and eventually lead to severe ischemic outcome. Are you okay? So it can cause infections and etc. Are you okay? Of other organs, wherever they block. Are you okay? They can cause the organ in respect to infarct, and then severe outcomes can result. That's why even in the hospital, when patients are in critical need, no matter how low the oxygen saturation is, you are supposed to control the release of oxygen so you don't end up complicating their condition. Are you okay? So that's basically about that. But these things happen. You have relatively small proportion of oxygen within our blood, which are bubble, but these are, like I said, they are dispersed. Number one, it's a relatively small proportion. And number two, they are dispersed. And because they are dispersed, they don't really form embolus. Are you okay? And the risk of embolus formation is relatively reduced. Are you okay? Significantly. But that's what happens. Okay, so what I want to say here is that not all oxygen are transported bound toward hemoglobin, even though a larger proportion of the oxygen within our blood is transported bound toward hemoglobin. Are you okay? All right. Now, with all the nice things I have said about oxygen, there's a little bit of problem with oxygen. When our cells take up oxygen, they are able to transform oxygen into some dangerous forms through metabolic activity. If you remember, I said that oxygen is largely employed in what? In oxidative metabolic processes. Are you okay? The end goal is that through these processes, we'll produce a lot of energy. And through these metabolic processes, we also produce a lot of other important biomolecules for our survival. Are you okay? Other important biomolecules for what? Our survival. So oxygen utilization is very, very important. Are you okay? But as the cell indulge in this activity, example, the beta oxidation I spoke about, there are a lot of radicals that are produced, a lot of toxic form of oxygen. I want you to look at it that way. A lot of toxic form of oxygen that are produced. If you remember earlier, I spoke about the superoxide radical. I also spoke about what? The hydrogen peroxide. And then I spoke about the hydroxyl radical. These are collectively referred to as what? Reactive oxygen species. Let's say it together.
Reactive.
Oxygen species.
They are termed as reactive oxygen species. In some books, they just use ROS. So if you read this in any textbook, just understand that that's what they are trying to imply. Reactive oxygen species. Other books will call them free oxygen radicals. Free oxygen radicals, FOR. Okay. So when you see free oxygen radicals or reactive oxygen species, they are essentially implying to the same thing. Now, these are not the only ones, but these are the major ones. The superoxide radical, the hydrogen peroxide radical, and then the hydroxyl radical, IUK. These are produced a lot during cellular metabolic processes. So while the cell is indulging in metabolism to produce energy and then to also produce other important biomolecules for human survival, these radicals are also produced on the side.
By the time I come, everyone is a little bit now. The time I come now, prepare a little rice for them.
All right, please, any questions so far? So you have a lot of somebody asked about free radicals. Please, there's a difference between reactive oxygen species and free radicals. Free radicals are more general. They are very broad and they go beyond just reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species are examples of free radicals, IUK. But free radicals are very broad and they can come from different sources, IUK. All right. So even though oxygen helps in aerobic respiration to generate significant amount of energy needs of the body for maintaining life, for maintaining consciousness, and then for maintaining physical activity, and then again for maintaining various physiological processes. The metabolic processes that are involved in utilization of oxygen generates a lot of toxic forms of the oxygen, which we call reactive oxygen species, IUK, as I've given you examples of. And these are very poisonous. Okay. And the reason why they are poisonous is that they react non-selectively. They are non-selectively reactive. They react non-selectively. What do I mean here? They attack just any tissue or cell available. So any tissue or cell that they find, they will attack it like they will attack pathogens. So they just go on attacking just anything on their way and they destroy them. So you can imagine if you are a body and you have a lot of this, then they are going to damage a lot of what? Your body organs.
See, Victoria has removed this one. See, everyone, the size, the drawing. She was
So they react non-selectively So they are going to attack organs and tissue. Remember, the blood goes everywhere. Are you okay? Almost all our organs are perfused. So you have the liver, the kidney, the heart, the lungs, the brain, the eye. All these organs are highly perfused with a lot of blood. And here is the case, a lot of these free radicals occur in the blood and they react just anything. So they can attack the eye, they can attack the kidney, they can attack the liver, they can attack the brain, and then they can attack the heart and every organ that they so come in contact with. And they can create severe degenerative outcomes. So in pathology, they have been implicated in various chronic degenerative diseases. Are you okay? Like diabetes, when they attack the pancreas, like coronary artery disease, when they attack the vessel walls, and sometimes the heart muscle altogether. Are you okay? They've also been implicated in cancer when they attack various cells and they transform the cells from normal to cancer cells. Are you okay? So, I mean, they are associated with a lot of things. A very, very troubling thing from oxygen. So oxygen itself is harmless, but after the body is done using them, their side products can become very harmful. Are you okay? Hello, Teresa.
Sir,
Yes, I can you clarify your concern?
I was asking that since
Mhm.
this they are able to get attached and then cause a lot of harm in the body. Could this
Yes,
be the reason why we have autoimmune diseases?
that's a very, very beautiful analogy you are drawing. I just read a paper where they are commenting on the fact that sometimes some of these metabolic products within the blood can, they call it remodeling. Okay. They can remodel immune cells. Are you okay? So instead of
Yeah.
immune cells fighting against foreign pathogens, they rather remodel them and then they tend to fighting us. So that could be. I didn't see that in a paper, but it's a possibility. Because it's also part of the metabolic waste, or metabolic substrates, which can occur within the blood. Are you okay? But this may require a bit more interrogation and study. Are you okay? But that
Yes,
could be
sir.
a possibility. Are you fine?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, so let's go. So this reactive oxygen species, I just want to say this. I'm not trying to overemphasize, but they have been implicated in fact, they've also been implicated in aging. Okay, that's why a lot of the anti-aging creams have what we call antioxidants. Are you okay? So the logic is that once you attack these oxidative species and quench them, then you can slow down aging. Okay, because the pathway is that, or the assumption is that this reactive oxygen species, once the skin is very perfused, are you okay? You know the integumentary system is highly perfused. So once they get to the skin, they attack the collagen fibers, are you okay? And the elastin fibers, and then they destroy them. So once the elastin fiber loses its elasticity and the collagen fibers are destroyed, then the skin will lose its elasticity and then begin to wrinkle up. Are you okay? So that's the explanation they have given for its effect on aging. Are you okay? In cardio degeneration, in neurodegeneration, they say it attacks these cells, are you okay, and then break them down and then they destroy them. So these reactive oxygen species are very, very troubling but we produce them innocently within our body and our cells, and they flood the blood in high amounts. So, as a natural way of dealing with them, the body has what we call antioxidant enzymes. Let's say it together.
Antioxidant.
Antioxidants.
Antioxidants. Oxide. Enzymes.
Antioxidant enzymes.
Please, the enzymes.
Sir, please come on, stand this up.
Yes, sir. Can I hear you? Hello, please go ahead. I'm listening.
Hello, Clint.
Yeah, all right. Sir, please, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes.
My name is Clinton. I'm speaking from Tamale Center.
So much.
Please, I want to thank you. Yes, I want to thank you so much for how you are explaining the thing for us. We are grateful. But sir, I have a passionate appeal I would like to make.
Yes.
I'm a slow learner, so I want to appeal to see if after the lectures, if you can kindly assist us with your slides so that we can follow up with the teaching. That is just my humble appeal. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. All right. But at least on your own, try and write something down. Are you okay? And don't say you are a slow learner. You are not a slow learner. Are you okay? You can do this.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Okay. All right. So let's go. There are a lot of what we call natural antioxidant enzymes which occur within our body. Are you okay? They are within us. Okay, and many of them are within the blood because that's where a lot of these free radicals occur and they are distributed around with the blood. So many of them are within the blood. Are you okay? I'm going to share a few examples with you and then maybe we'll see how they do what they do. So number one is catalase. Okay, catalase. So you have catalase. Then you also have what you call glutathione peroxidase. Hello, please kindly forgive me. I was trying to share a slide with you, but I think my system got frozen. So just give me a little time to work this out, okay? Hello, please, can you all see my page here?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
All right. So this is just to share with you the dynamics of oxygen distribution within the blood, like I told you. So per every liter of blood, you have this mass. Are you okay? 200 ml of it is saturated with oxygen. Like I told you earlier, you don't have all the blood being saturated with oxygen. Are you okay? So the proportion is 1 liter is to 200 ml. Are you okay? 1 liter is to 200 ml. So like for every 1 liter, you have 1/5 of it carrying oxygen. Are you okay? That's the physiological standard. And out of the 200, 197 is being carried as oxyhemoglobin. And then you have about 3 as well, molecular oxygen. Are you okay? Now, apart from metabolic processes generating a lot of the free radicals, you also have some free radicals coming in from inflammation, if you remember. So these are immune oriented. Are you okay? And every now and then, even though our immune system works very silently, it generates a lot of these free radicals because constantly we're exposed to a lot of what? Pathogens. Are you okay? And then we also breathe some of them as air pollutants. You know, the quality of air in our various cities is quite not ideal. Are you okay? Especially on the roadside where you have a lot of car fumes and etc. Are you okay? So some of these radicals are part of the contaminants in the air we breathe in, and they all get, if you remember my intro or my earlier pedagogy, I said that oxygen is not the only gas which we can find in a human person because we interact with a lot of gases in the atmosphere. Are you okay? So some are typical pollutants and yet we still breathe them in. Are you okay? And our body may either use them to a lesser extent or not use them at all. Are you okay? And so on and so forth. So that's basically about that. Now my focus is on the metabolism bit because that's where a lot of these free radicals are generated endogenously within our blood. Are you okay? And if you remember, I said many of these occur within the mitochondria. Are you okay? So these are the commonest ones. You have superoxide radical. You also have what? Hydrogen peroxide. Are you okay? And then you have the hydroxyl radicals. Are you okay? So to help us be able to what? Break them down, we have a natural set of what? Antioxidants within our blood. Are you okay? And these antioxidants are in the form of what we call superoxide dismutase, SOD. Then you have catalase. Are you okay? And then you have glutathione peroxidase. Sorry. So you have glutathione peroxidase. Okay. And then you also have glutathione reductase and then xanthine oxidoreductase. Okay. The most talked about ones, which we normally consider in oxidative stress conditions, are these 3: superoxide dismutase, catalase, and then glutathione peroxidase. These occur in the blood. In fact, all the 5, they occur to greater extent in the blood. And their role is to look for these toxic oxygen species and then destroy them. So they break them down. Are you okay? So that they ensure health. So my question is, if they are there as gatekeepers, are you okay? Or as military officers to ensure arrest of free oxygen species or free oxygen radicals and destroy them, then why or how come are these species able to exert their harmful effects on the body? The point is that while they are there, in fact, let me say this, a lot of these ones are also produced by the liver. Are you okay? A lot of them, these enzymes are produced by the liver, even though they work in the blood. Are you okay? So this is also to establish the relationship between between various body organs and stability of the blood as well. I think we will do this later when we start with the proteins. So fast forward. The point is that even though they are in the blood, they can be overwhelmed. So you can have a police people at a particular what we call checkpoint, but they can be overwhelmed by a group of criminals, okay? And they are dominated over, so they are pushed aside, and then the criminals can have their free day. So sometimes some of these free radicals are produced in large amounts, and they overwhelm the abilities of these enzymes. Are you okay? And they are now able to exert their effects. But it's not usually sudden. Are you okay? It becomes a regular practice. So if you are fond of eating a lot of high-fat diets and other things, over time, these ones become the bane of metabolism. Are you okay? And a lot of these radicals are produced and they can cause severe effect. Okay. At the end of the day. So that's basically what I would want to share with you. So that's how the enzymes work. So superoxide dismutase attack the superoxide and convert it to the hydrogen peroxide. And then catalase and glutathione peroxidase will break it down to water and oxygen, which are relatively harmless, okay, and can be used by the body or probably excreted away. Are you okay? So that's basically how they're able to eliminate the toxic effect of what these free radicals within the blood so that they can save or salvage the body. So in the event where they become overwhelmed, this is why in normal clinical practice, we encourage people to also take in what we call antioxidant supplements. Are you okay? So you can get a lot of these antioxidants from fruits. Okay, so fruits which contain a lot of vitamin C. Vitamin C is also a natural antioxidant. Vitamin E is also a natural antioxidant. So you see that many of the skin creams we have, either they are fortified with vitamin E, tocopherol, are you okay? Or probably you can take them in as good antioxidant supplements, and they help provide that protection by adding up to the activity of what? These enzymes. All right, let me talk to Bismarck. Your hand is up.
Good morning.
Hi.
Yeah. So my concern is about the free oxygen radicals and their enzymes. Yeah. Specifically, we talked about three major free oxygen radicals, which are the superoxide radical, hydrogen peroxide, and the hydroxyl radical. And the enzymes, the antioxidant enzymes which are acting on them are the catalase, the glutathione, and the superoxide dismutase. You could see that these three enzymes specifically act on the superoxide and the hydrogen peroxide. But we didn't talk about that of the hydroxyl radical, which enzyme acts on the hydroxyl radical. That
Okay.
one, yeah.
Bismarck. Okay, so take it as a reading assignment and read about it. Are you okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, thank you. The point is this, please let me make my, you see, for all this I'm sharing with you, I had scheduled, if you remember from the early part of the lecture, I had planned to finish with the minerals, but I'm not even done with gases. So we have a lot of ground to cover within this short time. Are you okay? So kindly help in this wise. I can't be teaching everything in the class, and I can't really be talking about almost everything from death to is to was. No. Are you okay? So kindly help. Probably you can read on that, and then when we meet next week and you find something you don't really understand, then you can bring it up for clarification. Are you okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. I think somebody raised a question. Please, can you put it across? Some people don't read the chat, so I love it if you can ask your question so that it benefits everyone. All right, so basically that's about it. And that's why a lot of the time we are encouraged to take a lot of fruits. Okay. Fruits, natural fruits are endowed with a lot of what? Antioxidant supplements. Okay. In fact, there is a new, I won't call it new because it's been there for quite a while. We are what we call nutraceuticals. Okay. Now there are new dietary supplements which are coming. Okay. They are not nutrients themselves, okay, but they are supplements to help boost our physiological system. Okay. And some of them are very rich in antioxidants so that they help complement the role of these enzymes and then provide vitality altogether. I mean, that's the essence, okay, to provide vitality by counteracting the activity of these free radicals. Because obviously, once there are metabolic processes ongoing within us, they will be produced. Okay, they will be produced. So that's basically about that. All right, so this is my bit about oxygen. Let me ask if anybody has a question. You can put it across. Yes, Joshua.
Thank you, sir. Please, sir, with the free radicals, you made mention of the protein in later on resulting in high amount of these free radicals. So my first question is it good that like you see in the olden days there were so many vegetarians, but now we are all consuming meat and then others, which will result in high production of more production.
There are a lot of people who are also vegetarians. Are you okay? So, yes. And the population has grown. So, proportion-wise, there are a lot of people who are still veggies. And in fact, there are a lot of people who are joining the global vegan cohort. Are you okay? Yes. So, go ahead, Joshua.
Okay, so please say my first question is answered. And then with the second one, most at times, doctors and then even some of the nurses, we advise patients who are above 40 not to be taking in meat because of these free radicals. And I just want to ask, is the explanation that you have given to us, is it the reason why we do give that this education to our patients, or there are more to it? Please, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so for the meat intake, it's not about free radicals because when you take meat, you don't generate free radicals. Okay. The meat is about the DNA. Okay. The meat cells contain a lot of DNA. So when you take this red meat, you understand that you are also eating full cells, and these cells are very rich in DNA. Okay. So you are eating chromosomes, you are eating DNA, and these have to be metabolized. And during their metabolism, they produce a lot of what we call uric acid. Okay. And this uric acid is what we know to be causing gout and others. So to minimize the risk of developing gout, we encourage people that as you age, you minimize your intake of red meat. Okay. But you can go for chicken and others, but not typical beef. Okay. Or even processed meat. Joshua, have I answered your question?
Please say yes, you have answered it. Thank you very much.
So don't go and stand somewhere and say that people should not be eating meat because of free radicals. I may agree with you in the context of processed meat. Sometimes some processed meat are treated with other chemicals, which may end up generating free radicals. Like, for instance, to make processed meat appear appealing, they may spray some nitric oxide on it. to make it appear very red. The nitric oxide, IUK, may break down within us and generate some free radicals, which will add on to some of the metabolically generated free radical and cause problems. But aside that, for meat generally, it's just because of the high risk of developing gout. That's why we encourage people that at a particular age, you shouldn't be taking too much red meat, but you can go for fish. I mean, it's always about moderation. Are you okay? You can just switch. So you eat fish a bit, then you try chicken, then you try meat, then you try some of the vegan proteins, egg, milk, and etc. Are you okay? All right, so great. I hope you guys are learning something, or it's just that I'm making too much noise. Anyway, okay. So we wrap with carbon dioxide. Yes. Does anybody have a concern?
So I said we are learning, say.
Oh, okay. So the second gas, remember we are still on the gases, so we are done with oxygen. Now let's look at carbon dioxide. A lot of the time, basic biology makes it appear that we don't need carbon dioxide. So I read this in textbook. They say we breathe in oxygen and then we breathe out what? Carbon dioxide. Yes, while this is true, it's not wholly true. We don't breathe out all the carbon dioxide in us. There are some residual carbon dioxide which are constantly being retained, and they are retained for a purpose. Our physiological system, this is not as a result of the deficiency of our respiratory system, no, but it's a homeostatic physiological adaptation. Forgive me, but this is just to let you know, because I have heard this in one video, suggesting this or attributing this to the inefficiency of our respiratory. No, I mean respiratory system is very efficient, but as a physiological adaptation, our body tries, to retain some amount of what? Carbon dioxide. And most of these are retained in the blood. In the blood. And then within the respiratory spaces, so the bronchioles and then the bronchus. Yes. But let me talk about carbon dioxide in the blood. Carbon dioxide is also very important, even though it's a major waste product that's being produced by the body. What does it do? It does three things. Number one, physiological carbon dioxide is used physiological carbon dioxide, number one, is used in what you call carboxylation reaction. So, number one, physiological carbon dioxide is used in what you call carboxylation. Carboxylation reactions. So these are chemical reactions that involve the incorporation of carbon dioxide. Are you okay? And you see this a lot in amino acid formation. Are you okay? In the liver. Amino acid formation. Okay. Some of these carboxylation reactions are involved in what? Amino acid formation in the liver. Are you okay? Number two, physiological carbon dioxide is also used in maintaining blood pH.
That carry. And then they did. Just I've come to come just some place was broken. Not there is a disorganized. The cupboards on the floor and liberties the floor. Was even a when I came. She was on the first air like this.
Okay. So they are used in what? Maintaining the pH of the blood by acting as a buffer. So they create a buffer. Are you okay? They create a buffer within the blood. Are you okay? And how do they do it? So you have carbon dioxide, which dissolves in the water in the blood, if you remember what I said about water. And then they form what you call carbonic acid. So they form carbonic acid. Now this carbonic acid dissociates reversibly to form hydrogen ion and bicarbonate. Are you okay? So this whole system is what we call the carbonate buffer. The carbonate buffer system. So it creates this buffer system. What does it do? What it means is that when you pour an acid into the blood, then this is called the conjugate base. It will react with the acid and neutralize it. If you pour a base into the blood, this is the acid. It will neutralize the base. So all the time, the pH of the blood is maintained what? Steady. As if nothing has happened to it. Are you okay? As if nothing has happened to it. And this whole mechanism is what enables us Are you okay? To keep living. Without this buffering system in the blood, okay, without the buffering system in the blood, just one small can cook. By the time you are done, it should kill you. Are you okay? One can cook should kill you. Because can coke contains a lot of what? Acid. Any of the carbonated drinks, by the time you are done with just one can, it should kill you or knock you off. But we don't die. Sometimes you finish 1 whole liter of Coke and you are still fine. And it's all because much as they contain acid, even though they go into the blood, there is a shock absorber in a form of a buffer system, and they prevent the excess acid. They neutralize them quickly so that they don't cause any significant change in the pH of the blood. So they help maintain the pH of what? Of the blood. Are you okay? There are about 3 different kinds of buffer system. We have the carbonate bicarbonate system. We have the phosphate buffer, and then we also have the proteins, okay, which also act as buffer systems. Okay. So this is what carbon dioxide do within our blood, and that's why it's very important. But even though it plays this virtuous role, when there is excess amount of carbon dioxide trapped in the blood, instead of it helping as a buffer, it rather becomes toxic. Are you okay? It rather becomes what? Toxic. So you have excess carbon dioxide dissolving in water in the blood, and they form what you call carbonic acid. Now, instead of this acting as a buffer system, the carbonic acid becomes too much and it overwhelms the blood and causes what we call metabolic acidosis. Are you okay? Hello?
Hello, sir. Please, we can hear you.
Okay. So, or if somebody holds their breath for too long, are you okay? If somebody holds their breath for too long, so that instead of breathing out carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide is what? Trapped inside the blood. So it accumulates and then it forms a lot of carbonic acid and causes what we call respiratory acidosis. So the way to treat the respiratory acidosis is what? Usually you open their mouth wide and then you compress their chest so that they breathe. Or sometimes you can put them under ventilator just to ensure that they're able to breathe. Are you okay? And get more of the carbon dioxide out. And then they will recover. Are you okay? Hello?
Hello, sir. Please, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Benjamin, your hand is up.
Okay, sir. So please, with what we've said right now, this means that a patient coming from the theater under sedation is at risk of developing respiratory acidosis. Please, if I understand you.
Yes. And that is why you must be monitoring them. You don't leave them like that. See, sometimes that's a problem. We trust the drugs so much that sometimes we leave the patient to themselves as if to say that nothing untoward can happen. But a lot can go amiss. Because even though they are under sedation, a lot of metabolic processes are still going on within the cells of the body. And so we must be monitoring. Monitoring is very important. A lot of people die because of post-surgical complications. And it's all because, sometimes it's not because the surgeon didn't have a good hands or couldn't do a good work. So a very good work. The team does fantastic, but it's the monitoring. The monitoring, especially within the first few hours, from few hours after the procedure, all the way to a day or two. I think last week or so at my church, one of the women, you know, I'm a pastor, so I was told this. A lady had gone for, I think, some procedure, and she couldn't say that, are you okay, very well, because she doesn't know so much of this medical terminologies and all that. But she went for a procedure, and just for a review, are you okay, she collapsed at the place and went into coma for days. I'm not talking about just days. She was in the hospital. You get it? So sometimes if we monitor very well, it's important when you sedate a patient prior to a procedure, that's fine. But keep watching on the vitals, very important. Oxygen saturation, are they breathing well? Are you okay? You constantly monitor their body temperature. Are you okay? Is anything going wrong? You constantly monitor their heart rate and other. It's very important. Don't just leave them. And sometimes you don't need a machine to be beeping before you rush. In between time, just turn around, look at them. Are you okay? They are equally like you are. Their life matter. They also have ambitions. They have dreams. They have families. They have loved ones. Are you okay? So monitoring is very important. Thank you, Benjamin, for bringing that up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So any other, please? Okay. All right. So I think time is almost up, and I want to believe you have learned a lot today. I will leave you to go and read about the metals or the minerals. Are you okay? Just to guide your reading, the minerals are grouped into two. We have what we call the metals and the non-metals. Metals and what? Non-metals. Okay. So there are a lot of metals in our body. And by metals, I'm not talking about the hard metals as we all know. But these are elemental or ion metals. Okay. They include iron, zinc, copper, selenium, molybdenum, manganese or magnesium. You have potassium, sodium. These are all referred to as what? Metals. And they are required for survival because of the significant roles that they play in our body. Then we have the non-metals like the chloride, the fluoride, the phosphorus, the sulfur, and etc. Are you okay? So these also constitute what we call the non-metals. Are you okay? All right. So let me take just one of the metals and then maybe I'll wrap up. If you take a metal like iron, they are required in very, very small amounts. The recommended dietary allowance, RDA, is very small. It's usually in milligrams. But it's very, very important. Are you okay? In our body. If you remember the slide that I showed you, you can see that iron is important as a cofactor for the enzyme called what? Catalase. Are you okay? So even for catalase activity, you need iron to help in that activity. But primarily, iron is important in what? Hematopoiesis or erythropoiesis, isn't it? Very important. They are important in hemoglobin formation and red blood cell production. Are you okay? So if you really want to understand how iron is useful, you can look at iron deficiency and birth outcome. Iron deficiency and birth outcomes. So you can see that poor iron consumption can significantly and even adversely affect birth outcomes. Are you okay? And that, in a way, is to let you know these things are not supposed to be carried as stories. They are just to let us know that these